Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I keep seeing ads for little things like this. Maybe not this particular thing, but something like it. All you do is just plug it into the receptacle, and it makes it so that you can plug in 5 things where you used to only be able to plug in 2. And you can even charge your phone. You can even plug in your toothbrush. But there's a problem. This thing lets you plug into 5 things into an outlet that was designed to run 2. Now when I say outlet, the outlet is the whole box. The receptacle is the little thing with the prongs so that you can plug in something. You're only supposed to have 2 receptacles per outlet. Now there are larger boxes that allow you to have 2 receptacles on each side. So that lets you have 4 altogether. That's fine because somebody who put that in there supposedly knows what he's doing. Let's hope he's a licensed electrician. What you run into, somebody takes that thing and plugs it into an outlet box and makes it so that you have 1.5 times more receptacles in that outlet box than it's designed for. They put in a number 12 wire going to it. Number 12 wire is fine. It meets code, everything's okay. Until you start overloading it. When you plug in all the things that you can plug into that receptacle. And all the things that you can overload that outlet box with. You get into the position where you start overloading the number 12 and you start blowing fuses and breakers. Not bad if you're in a modern house and it's got the full set of backup. It's got GFCIs, ground fault circuit interrupters, so that you can't drop your toaster into the bathtub and electrocute yourself. It also has arc fault outlets, so that if you've got a slow leak, something that just causes a little buzz in the wire where it's grounding to the wet carpet, it drops out the circuit. Those things are protected pretty well. It's hard to have a problem there. If you overload the outlet, it's going to stop. But not every house has those. Some houses are built clear back Revolutionary War. Even the houses built in the 50s and 60s, most of them didn't have wire when they were built. The wire was added later. And the wiring was done with number 14 wire, and it was done by somebody who might not have been licensed. Licensing didn't really spread through the entire country until mid-70s. So you have to be careful, because that outlet that you're trusting with 2.5 times what it's supposed to have, then you've got a potential fire, because you can overload that box by plugging in maybe 2 heaters. Somebody wants to have a heater in their room and they're a little cold, so they take a baseboard heater and they plug it in and say, there we go, now we're going to stay warm. That's okay. Then they decide that later on they want to have another heater because it's still a little cold. Well, when they built the house back in the 50s, they put in 1 outlet in the ceiling. All that had in it was a light bulb. And they said, well, that'll be enough because all you got is that thing and nobody had anything else. So if they wanted something plugged into the room, they had this cute little thing that you could take the light bulb out, screw in this adapter, and it would let you plug in something to that light outlet and still have the light bulb. So there'd be this extension cord, usually made out of zip cord, that's strung across the room, sometimes with tape, sometimes with staples, to the wall, and drop down to the floor so that on your nightstand you could have a clock or a night light or anything like that. And quite often, when Dad and I went into houses back in the 60s and were rewiring them, those kind of jury-rigged setups were pretty common. We went into one rest home that was supposedly licensed in a little town of Quincy, and it was a 2-story building. They had people who couldn't walk on the 2nd floor. They had to carry them up and down the stairs. When we went into the house to do the initial bid, we walked into the basement and Dad saw that the house had been strung with zip cord all the way from one wall to the next, stapled up to the ceiling and down in the basement. The house didn't have number 12 wire. It was wired with number 16, which is very small. Doesn't take much heat at all to make that wire cook because it's not designed for that load. So Dad went through with a pair of cutters and cut all the wires and said, we'll be back in the morning and finish running this. We worked on that building for almost 3 months. We had 4 guys in there with us working on it, running the wire. It cost a ton of money to do that, and we ended up losing our shorts because they couldn't pay the bill. But when we walked out of there, we were pretty certain that the place wouldn't catch on fire because of the outlets. And we knew a lot of the people in the building by the time we were done. We didn't want to have those old people up on the second floor trying to crawl down the stairway in the middle of a fire. Silly, I know, but reality sucks. I worked in factories for 40 years. I was either a maintenance guy doing the actual work, or the supervisor of the maintenance department, or the manager of the maintenance department, and I had guys working for me in multiple places at the same time. And I had crews that had to go out and do the things that I did when I originally started as a maintenance guy, which meant that when somebody had an office and they were in that office and they wanted to have a coffee pot, they'd just plug it into the wall. And if they wanted to have a toaster, they might buy one of these cube taps, that's what they're called, where you can have multiple things plugged into one receptacle. They would buy one of those at the hardware store and plug it in, because they knew if they asked a maintenance guy, he'd say, no, you can't do that. But it happened, and things got plugged in, and then there'd be a tangle of extension cord underneath their desk, and all this stuff tied into one extension cord with a multi-tap on the end of it. It was a mess. Coffee pots, toasters, frying pans, turkey roasters, crock pots. I've seen pretty much everything plugged into an outlet that will go into an outlet. By the time you do that, you've got the wall overloaded, you've got the whole system overloaded, and some of these factories that I worked in were built in the 50s. So they didn't have the high-tech wiring that we've got today. No safeties. They had screw-in fuses, and even the modern ones at the time, had the square D push-button fuses, which tend to catch fire and burn. I still see those from time to time. People were careful and wired them correctly and put them in a place where they could survive, and everything was fine until somebody bought the house and decided that they wanted to put in something else. Window, air conditioner, something little, big freezer, an extra cook stove. Who knows? Lots of stuff. So by the time you get all done with that, you've pretty much seen it all, done it all, and you're tired of it, and you retire, and you get on the YouTube and start telling people not what to do and what not to do. That's where I'm at today. Hope you enjoyed the little story. If you did, give me a like and maybe even subscribe, because I'll be doing this same thing time and again. It's not the first one of these I've done. It won't be the last. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.